Skills Build Academic internship, which is a 6 week big data and business management internship, which started on 22nd June, sponsored by IBM, BharatCares, and AICTE. So today, the last master class of this internship, the agenda for today is you So, agenda for today is you'll be going through why data visualization matters, then the principles of effective visual design, then how to choose the right charts and visualizations, also communicating insights through data. As always, everybody is into the internship. We have the important announcements again for you. That is, as all of you know, you can't change your domain. That is big data and business management that you are in later on. And also, always use the same email ID throughout the academic internship. If you have used any alternative email ID, please type that in the attendance form. There is a question for that. Also, regarding offer letters, everybody will be receiving their offer letters, and I hope most of you have already received it. If anyone is left, you will be receiving it as soon as possible. And the main thing is that attendance is mandatory for all the master classes. So don't miss out to mark your attendance at the end of the session. Also, there were few queries regarding dashboard, recordings, and everything. You have a resource document where the link is provided, and in group it would be provided again. In this resource document, you can find all the recordings. Also, if you have any queries, you just have to fill the query form. Apart from that, here you can find all the recordings that is necessary for your internship and all the links that is required. I hope that is clear for everyone. Yes. And as already mentioned, please fill the query form if you have any queries that you can get from the resources document. And by the time, I hope everybody is already into WhatsApp groups. If anyone is not there, the newest WhatsApp group would be shared to you. And the internship can either be done individual or team wise. There were questions regarding individual participation also. That can also be done individually also. You can do the internship. Um, so yes, for Masterclass 5, we have Mr. Karthik Huda with us. He is a data analytics professional who has the strong foundation in AI, statistics, and computer science. He specializes in developing AI systems and data-driven solutions using IBM Watson, Relay, Microsoft Capital, Google Colab, etc. I hope all will be familiar with Mr. Karthik Huda. Once again, I welcome Karthik Huda to take over the Masterclass 5 of this internship.
Hello everyone. Thank you very much, Aarti. Thank you for the great introduction. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the last and ultimate masterclass of the Big Data and Business Management internship. I hope you are all really excited and you are ready to build your final projects. So, to build our final projects, of course, we need to know how we go ahead in that direction. So, if you guys remember from the last masterclass, we'll directly jump into where we left off. We were working on this particular sheet shared by our fictional client to us as the data analyst. And as the fictional data analyst, our job was to basically achieve all the tasks that our client wanted us to do. Now, I hope you all remember we had achieved majority of the tasks initially, and this is what our data looked like after we did most of our part. If you remember, we color coded the salaries, we also color coded the performance rating, we also provided a performance category to all of the ratings that are there. We cleaned our data, we provided them email addresses, provided them unique employee IDs. We did all of that. Now let's move on. Along with that, we also created new sheet where we had specific information regarding a few new joinees that the companies had. And we also created a new sheet that contained a drop down for various employees, and it provided information for each of those employees as we either chose from the drop down or we manually type different let's get back to where we were. But before we go there, I would like to ask you if any of you had any query, any questions regarding the first what we covered in the previous masterclass 4. And even before that, even before masterclass 4, if you have any queries regarding anything. So before I begin this, I would like to let you know that by the time this masterclass ends, we would have got to learn how to basically make our final project. So stay tuned and let's get into it. I see no messages currently, so I'm sure you all are ready. All right, now let's look into our 16th task. Next 16th task is to fetch the employee name, department, and total sales. All right, looks like the 15th and 16th task, we both use VLOOKUP to fetch employee name, department, and total sales. So what we did in our 15th task, we actually fetched all the details. So we have gone a step ahead. We used VLOOKUP, also put up a drop down. Now, how else can you use VLOOKUP? I would like to show that to you. Now, here, although we did use VLOOKUP and we kind of created a dynamic sheet, a sheet that doesn't stay static. It changes constantly based on the input that we provide. Based on whatever employee ID we will choose from here, the sheet will change its data. Now, if we wanted to create a static sheet using the same VLOOKUP formulas, so how we will do that? So now it is asking to fetch out only the employee name, department, and total sales. Now, how we can possibly do that? We'll go to employee ID. Now, you can do it for both ways. Let's say you want to do it for a selected number of IDs or you want to do all of them. It does not really matter. If you wanted to do it for a selected number of IDs, you'll select a few of them. Otherwise, right now, since we do not have any clear definition, I'll select all of the employee IDs, copy this, and go to a task 15 sheet again. And although this is the 16th task, but here we will have a good example. Basically, we can use the same formulas that we had previously used. So what I'll do, I will paste all the employee IDs that earlier were copied from here and just leaving one row. You see now all the employee IDs are now pasted here. Now, although our data is unique, but just to be sure, what you can do, you can select all of these employee IDs, then go to the data tab over here, go to the remove duplicates column, and basically the column is already selected and you can click on OK. And we already knew our data was unique as we had cleaned it in the previous masterclass, but just to be sure, you can do that. All right. Okay, I see my voice is too low. Is it correct? Uh, Aarti, can you please interrupt and let me know if my voice is too low?
It is good, Karthik.
Okay, thank you very much, Aarti. All right, continuing from here. So if we go back to our task list, we are supposed to find employee name, department, and total sales. So let's go for them. We basically have two separate columns for employee first name and employee last name. So what I'll do as of right now, I'll copy this formula and paste it over here. Now it says the reference does not exist. Now why that might be, what mistake could we have possibly made here? That you see, if you remember how VLOOKUP formula works is, we start with an equal to, we write V look up, we open the bracket, then we choose this particular field that we need to search for. All right, we click on it. and then comma, and then we go to the data where we are searching in, find the field that is employee ID in this particular data set, and then we want to find out the first name. So we'll select both the columns that is over here, and if you want to select more column, we can do that as well. So if you remember in the task that we are given, we were asked to go find the names, the department as well as the total sales. So we'll look at two ways. The first way is we just choose the two columns that are essential, go all the way down, select all of them, then we put a comma, and then we put a number here, and that number is the column that we are searching for relative to the column where our original data is. So we are searching for employee IDs, which is in the first column, and relative to the employee ID column, our data, our first name is in second column. So I'll put 2 here and separated by 0, comma 0. So 0 is basically whenever you face an error, you are not asking, you are telling Excel that do not tell me that there is an error. Just put an any over there. What if, see, this will work even if I do not put a 0 here, but I do not want to see an error. If there is nothing, it will just put an any over here. All right. If I put it here, it will still give me pura. And if I remove the 0, it will still give me the same thing, because at this particular spot, there is no error. But we should be in the habit of doing this so that in case there are errors. Let's say now we want to do the same thing and find out what the last name was. So what I will do, I'll again use the same thing, equal to, we look up, choose the A5 cell, then I will go to employee data. This time we will search for the employee ID, and in relative to the employee ID, the employee last name is in the third column. So what I'll do, select these three columns all the way down, and then with comma I'll write down 3, because relative to employee ID, the last name is in the third column. And again with the 0 to avoid errors, and enter, we get Pura Bhaiya. Just to be sure, we can go back and check that employee 01 is Pura Bhaiya. Now, it is not necessary that you always choose only the particular amount of data that you are looking for. If you remember what it did in the last class, you see, in the last class, we had basically selected all of the data, starting from A2 all the way up to U1008. So whatever data I wanted, I simply copied that particular, you know, relative cell number. If I wanted first name, I put down 1. If I wanted second name, I put down second, and all the way up until the end. So if I want to do the same thing here, so if I, just to be sure, if I insert another cell and I call the first 3 as what they're actually named, and then we want the department, put it over here, and we want the total sales, and I'll put that over here. All right. Now for what I'll do for the remaining 2, I'll again use VLOOKUP, go to employee data. This time I will go all the way up to total sales. Not that here also you can select the entire data set, but it is not really necessary as we did in the last class. I'll select all the data, and the department relative to employee ID is, I am guessing, ABCDE 5th. Okay, what mistake did I? Oh, I did not select a data point to choose from. Okay. So the mistake that I made here was I did not select this particular ID, what exactly I'm searching for. And now it will be fixed. I'll simply use the same process. Go all the way up to total sales, then 5 and then 0. And there we have the department. And I'll copy the same formula, but we'll change a little bit. So what I'll do, rather than see, if you remember how relatively formula changes in Excel, if you do not put a dollar sign like we put here, it will not, the cell values or the relative reference values to cells, they will not stay fixed. So just to give an example, if I take this pura a year and I simply double click it, you will see at first glance it looks like everything is correct. But when we start going down, you will see that since it is relatively changing, you see employee data is searching from 861 and not from A2 where data starts from. And it is searching all the way up to 81867. So that is a problem. It should not search. And since we can see there is a mistake in the formula, then we can be sure that there is mistake in our data as well. So what I'll do, I'll undo this. And just to make sure that it does not change, the data does not change, I'll use dollar signs in front of the row numbers as well as the column numbers or alphabets, whatever we can call them. So when I use this, you will realize if I simply now double click on the little square in the right bottom, this time no matter how low we go, you see it stays fixed. A2 to 1008. So you have to, not that you have to use dollar sign every time. You have to understand where dollar sign is important and where it is not. And then you will be able to basically create the most perfect formula that works every time. So here I'll do the same thing. Put the dollar sign and enter, and that also goes. So no changes. Now let's say you wanted to use this concept of dollar signs and not write the formula again and again. So what you can do in that case? Here if you see, I did write formula for all four fields separately. Let's say you wanted only one formula, copy the formula to all other fields. But what do you want when it changes? See, if you see without putting the dollar signs, if I paste it, the formula, it will change everything. It will change the rows, it will change the columns. But if I put dollar signs everywhere, it will not change anything. It will stay fixed. So let's say our idea was to create a formula that changes wherever needed and does not change wherever not needed. So what we can do, let's say I wanted to create a formula and simply drag it across to 100 more columns. So how will those 100 more columns work? So what I'll do this time for the first entry, that is A6, I accidentally selected D10. See, if right now, if I drag it across here, you see the A6 changes to B6, the A2 changes to B2, U changes, M changes to N, and so on. See, if I put a dollar sign here in front of 6 and A, even when it goes down, the 6 will not change. It will always look for A6. And so basically, it will always look for employee number 1. So what I will do, I'll only put one dollar sign in front of A. So what does that mean? That only A changes. So A will never go to the second column, or it will always stay A column, but 6 will keep on changing. So 6 will continue to change, A will never change. And but when it comes to the data, our data stays fixed. So here in this case, I will not put anywhere. I will not leave any dollar signs and put all of them. And we have got field sales. I can simply copy it all the way here and drag it across. Now here see, because we did not change anything, rather than total sales, it is again giving us the department value. So how do we change that? If we go back to our employee data over here, you will see that total sales is in M column, which is relatively the 13th column. So if I go over here, type 13, then we get the total sales value and it goes all the way down. Now, if you remember in the previous masterclass, we went a step ahead by creating a dynamic formula where we basically assign row number to each of the formula. So if you see, Here it does not have 2 or 3 or 4, it has rather has cells B1, C1, D1, E1. So what we did there was we basically created a hidden a row where the numbers were already written. So the formula was dynamically taking up the values from over there and then putting into our data. And that is why we are able to create this dynamic field where whenever we change it, a new data shows up. All right, so now our 16th task is also done. For now, I will, rather than having everything in one sheet, I'll create a new sheet, paste it over here so that this sheet is now free. I'll call this sheet as the task 16, which we can mark as done. Now, since this is not a dynamic sheet, it is not really necessary for us to leave the formulas as they are, as they can be changed. So if you remember the concept of pasting as values, I'll copy this and paste as values. And there we go. Our task for the 16 task is also done. I will mark it in green, not text, but the box. And there we go. Now is next, create a pivot table showing average salary by department. All right, not very complex, a very easy task to do. So to insert a pivot table, you can either insert a pivot table for all of the data combined, or you can select specifically data that is needed. So let's say for the same task that we had, create a pivot table showing average salary by department. What we can do, I can either select the entire data, go to insert, go to pivot table, choose the new worksheet option. You can also choose existing sheet option, but right now I'll click on OK. And now average salary by department. First, what I'll do, I'll take department and put it into rows over here. All right, so we have now got all the unique department: channel sales, enterprise sales, field sales, and so on. And there is also not available. If you remember, we filled that wherever the department field was empty. And now we want the salary. We'll take salary, drag it to values. Now, what you see right now, this number might look too big to you, but if you look in the right bottom, you will see by default, Excel is chosen to do sum of all the salary values. We can simply change that by clicking on the arrow over here. We'll go to value field settings. And rather than see, there are various options. If I choose count here, it will basically count the number of people. You see, basically, channel sales has 186 people, enterprise has 158, and all the way, total 1007. Then average gives us the average salary, and so on. You can try with different methods. You see, in short, we have completed our task number 17 as well, because that is all the task required, a pivot table. So that was quite quick and easy to do. So let's sort the sheet out in the correct order. 14, 15, 16, 17. So this is also done. Next is pivot sales, showing total sales by region. Again, a very same concept, but now how previously we selected the entire data set. Now let's do it using the entire, choosing only the data that is needed. So we have our location over here and we have our total sales. So I'll click on, tap on control. By clicking on control, it gives me the option to select two different columns. So I selected the two different columns. Again, I'll go to insert, go to pivot table, new again. You see, this command requires at least two rows of source data. You cannot use the command on a selection in only one row. So right now it is not able to recognize. So what I will do, I will simply choose this much data, go all the way down, and then insert a pivot table, and now it works. So I'll take my location, go to rows, go take my total sales, go to values, and just to look at the task again, we are supposed to find total sales. So we only want sum. So this was, I guess, a very short and easy task. We wanted to find out the sum, and by default, Excel has found out the sum of total sales. So task number 17 is also done. Okay, my bad. Did I make any mistake? It must be task number 18. All right, so this part is also done. Now moving ahead, marking this as green. Add slices to pivot table for department and region filtering. All right, so how does this work? If I choose this particular data set, no, not this particular data set, but this particular pivot table, and let's say I wanted to represent data in this data set, but not the entire data. I only want to represent data which I want to see or which my user wants to see. So what I will do, I will add slicers. So how slicers work is basically, if you remember in Tableau, how filters worked in Tableau, we can, from the filters, we can basically choose what data to represent and what not to represent. Here also, a very the names seem very different, slicers and filters, but their function is quite same. If I take a slicer, so slicer, as the word says, is slices away the data that is not required. All right. Now, how you can add a slicer? So slicers, it is not really necessary that you can add slicers just to pivot tables. You can also add slicers to entire tables as well. So adding slicers to an entire table would be a very good way for you to learn. Let me show you how you can do that. Let's say rather than those pivot tables, you had this entire data set. So what to do now? I'll copy this entire data set into a new sheet. And for now, let's call it task 19. Task 19 is basically asking us to add slicers. And to add slicers, what I will do, I'll select this entire data set, go to this option in the home tab, the styles option, and this second option called format as table. And from this, you can choose any design that you like, and you can also create your own new design. Right now, I'll select the most simplest one, which I believe is this. And it has basically created this particular table for me. And in this particular table, let's say you just visually want to filter and represent data. What I will do, I'll insert slicer over here. You see this button table from table design in the tools tab, the third button called insert slicer. If I insert this, and let's say what I wanted the slicer in which field, you can either choose one field or you can choose multiple fields. So if I remember, we had to apply a filter by department and by region, but first let's try by one, department and OK. So you see it has created this box, and this box is your entire slicer. Now, if you see how this will work, keep an eye on this E column, that is the department column. You currently see all the departments that are here. But if I click on channel sales, it has sliced all other data for us. It now only represents the few value, the exact count to be the 186 people who are in channel sales. I can do the same now. Select enterprise sales, field sales, basically anything that I want to select. Now, if I undo all this, go back. Now, we can do the same by region. Go to table design, insert a slicer. There we have the location over here. And I've chosen both department and location and then OK. So it has given us two slicers. Now, what these two slicers will do, if I choose channel sales, it will we have already seen how that works. Everything for channel sales is displayed, the 186 employees that are in channel sales. Now within channel sales, I want only people who are in Bangalore. I'll click on Bangalore. Now it has filtered our data much more down. Now from this, what we can say that only out of the over 1,000 employees that we have, there are only 20 who are in channel sales and work from Bangalore. So this is how filters work. All right. So we have basically added both the filters. For now, I will remove all these, and now our client, our hypothetical or fictional client, that client has given us a task. We have achieved it. So I will mark task 19 also as done. So what you saw, the similar kind of filters can also be put in pivot tables as well. All right, now we move on to something more statistical, something more mathematical, but not to worry, since we have Excel. Excel makes everything very easy for us, and let's see how it does that. Now, first thing is, if you see, if we go to our original data set, on the right of it, it also has some financial information about employees. For example, and that is the loan that they have taken, the interest rate on which the loan has been taken, the loan term, and the loan age. Now, don't look at these particular formulas purely from the point of view of just loans. Look at it from all those values, values such as their portfolio, their bank statement, or their how much they're invested in mutual funds. And don't just look at it from these employee perspective. Look at it from all those investments or all those financial values that are compounded over time. And basically we need to calculate the maybe the final amount, the future amount, and how that goes on. Now what the first thing it has asked is that calculate the monthly loan repayment using. Now, this might look very funny to you guys, that which client will give you the formula to calculate. But I hope you remember in the last class, I had shared this formula with you guys and shared this sheet as well. So whenever you guys, I hope everybody has this sheet with this particular sheets, the to-do sheet specifically. And so basically these formulas are there for all of you to learn. All right. Now let's see. Let me first copy this formula and I'll explain you how this formula works. So just remember this formula that starts by PMT. This is to calculate what will be your monthly payment for your loan. Now taking an example from all the data that can be compounded, it could be, let's say if you are investing in an SIP, what would be your monthly growth? If you have invested in a stock by percentage, what will be the value of your stock in coming 2 years? Some, and wherever the data is compounded, if I copy the exact formula, paste it over here, now it has given me this particular value. Okay, so what has happened, this formula has changed a bit, because if you remember, since the beginning we have added several extra rows. So to find out, first of all, let's name this table as monthly repayment. So if you remember the compound interest, simple interest formula, very simple formulas that we learned in school, and there we were able to basically count what the interest will be. So these Excel formulas also work in a very, very similar manner. All right. So we start with our loan amount, or as we call it, the principal. So here you will see the number, but we'll edit this formula looking at the uh, formula bar that we have here. So, so if you guys remember what we used to divide by 100 in our simple interest and compound interest formulas, and it was rate. If you remember, simple interest formula was PRT by 100, and compound interest formula was P into 1 plus R by 100 whole to the power of T. Every time rate used to be get divided by 100. Here we have rate in this particular S2 column. Next, what used to get multiplied by 12. Since we need monthly payment, we need the yearly breakdown into much. So we'll take the loan term and multiply it by 12. And then L is what? This is where our principal is. So we are putting a principal with a minus sign on it. Minus sign basically is to tell Excel that this is the principal and that is currently here in the R2 cell. And we press enter. So now we get the value of 6417.57. What does this value say? That if you have taken a loan of 4,66,534 on an interest rate of 9.4 for 9 years, then you have to pay monthly 6,417.57 rupees to repay the loan on time. That is what the monthly payment is. And as always, we will simply double click here and it gives us monthly payment for all of them. Now we'll mark this as green. Next, it wants us to find out the median salary. Well, first, what we can do, first let's look at another basically value that we need to find, that is the present value, and we also have to find the future value. Now how this will work, just give me a second and I will let you know how future value and present value works. All right, so what we are doing, we are looking at task numbers 24 and 25 first, then we'll look at task 22 to 23. All right, now we want to find out the future value. Now what does future value mean? Future value means if you have taken a loan in a certain time and then you have taken it for a certain period of time, you are basically asking, after you have paid certain amount, let's say you have taken a loan for 10 years and it has been 5 years, and in let's the loan amount is 10 lakh, then added on the principal, let's say it comes up to maybe 12 lakhs. Then in the first 5 years you have paid maybe 10,000 per month, and in the 5 years you are totally covered 6 lakhs. Now what remains after that particular period, that is what the future value is. And if the long term is completed, then the future value is simply 0. So what remains after your loan has aged for the certain time, that is what the future value is. And so let me just drag this sheet all the way over here so it will be easier for us to use. All right. Now we want to find out the future value. So if you remember in this particular example, a loan of close to 4.6 lakhs on this interest, this is the term years. So loan age basically means how much time it has been since the loan was taken, and years is the total duration of loan. So I'll again, the formula that I had, I will paste it over here, but I will change it according to what is needed. So if you guys remember, the L2 changes to R2 because this is the principal. Then the M2 changes to S2. O2 changes to the loan age. And then P. Now why we calculated monthly payment first and then future value later, because monthly payment number is required for us to calculate the future value, and this changes to V, and we basically now have the future value. So you see, the loan was taken for 9 years. It has already been 8 years. This was the loan. This was the interest. This was how much monthly was paid. So since only 1 year remains, of total, only 52,000 more needs to be paid. All right. Nothing more needs to be paid. And that is what we have. And we'll go all the way down. Now, this might seem complex. If you guys have any queries, you can please let me know. Now, but before we go to the queries, let's just finish our last task. That is to find out the present value. Again, pasting this formula. M2 changes to S2. N2 to T2. And P2 changes to V2. All right, and there we go. All right, now a lot of you must have already seen. Uh, I wrongly named this column the present value. Now, why the formula for present value is important? You see, the loan amount and present value are the exact same number. And yes, the present value or the interest are the same thing. There is no difference in that. But what you should understand from this particular formula, that up until the monthly repayment formula, up until the future value formula, we have always used this particular value, that is R2, where our interest amount lies. Here also we used R2 where our interest amount lies. But for present value, if you see, we did not use R2. So what does this mean? We only used the columns that are T2, S2 and V2. So T is here, V is here and S is here. So why present value formula is important? Let's say if you did not know what the loan amount was, if I come to you and tell you, let's say for now, I hide this. Let's say I gave you this particular data, and then I tell you that I have a person who has taken a loan on 9.4% for 9 years, and the loan age although does not matter, and he pays 6,417 rupees per month. And I ask you how much loan was taken. So I'll use the present value formula. And you see, because nothing from the loan interest was chosen, so I got the present value. So now I'm able to tell, based on the interest rate, the loan term, and the monthly repayment, how much the principal amount was. Now you might think that monthly repayment, we can simply multiply it, but if do not forget, monthly repayment is not just the repayment of the principal amount. It is the repayment of principal amount plus the interest amount, and that is divided into the 9 years that you have. All right, so I will get back my loan amount, and I guess by this we have completed our last two tasks as well. Future amount and present values are done. Now we are down to something very easy. So we have to find out the median and mode of salary, and we have to find out the standard deviation of sales. And it is very easy. So for this, what we can do, rather than creating new sheet, since the task is very simple, I will create a new column, call one as median salary. Next, I will call mode salary, and next standard deviation of sales. All right, very my bad. So very easy. This wrong spelling for sales over here. Now it very easy. I'll start with an equal to. Give, write down MEDIAN, a very easy Excel formula. Go to the salary column, select all of it, close, and there we go. This is our median salary. So median, I hope you still remember from your statistics or finance classes. that basically the center point of your data is the median, and almost equal number of people are above that and equal number of people are below that. That is, if we have 1,000 people in our company, here in this particular we have 1,007 people, then out of that 503 people have salaries more than 9,10,370, and 503 people have salaries below 9,10,370. All right. Mode again, the salary value that has the highest frequency or most number of people have that. So equal to mode, open the bracket, again choose the same column, close it, and there we have. So again, mode is also quite close. Oh, surprisingly, mode and median of this data is same. So that is a very good thing. So what that tells us, so basically from this particular values that we have find out. So how this helps us predict, a prediction that I can make here, that the standard deviation will not be very high. That means a standard deviation is very high when your data is very scattered. If your data is quite concentrated and very close to your average value, very close to your median value, then the standard deviation is not very high. I hope you all already know what standard deviation is. So for standard deviation as well, we have STDEV, very easy formula, and we are supposed to find that for sales, I think. I'll choose this, close, and we have standard deviation for sales. So standard deviation for sales is quite high, but for salary, so please here do not get confused by two formulas. If you just write MOD, okay, the mode form, MOD form. So if you are maybe working on Google Sheets or working on separate things, there are various ways of using mode. Mode also sometimes the just MOD, it works in a separate way. It is used to basically round off your number to a certain decimal places, or also removing all the negatives in your data. All right, so this is done here. We have find out the median, mode salary, and the standard deviation of sales. And with this, we have come to the end of our task list in our Excel data analysis. All right, now we can come to the chat. Now, I hope you all had a great time learning Excel over here. We have been doing this since our last masterclass. If you have any queries, please let me know. All right, Arush is asking, can I explain slices again? So Arush, slices are not complex. You take any particular data, add slices to it, and it works like filters. Arush, you wants to explain how I added slices, then please let me know. But the concept of slices is very easy. Okay, you want to know how I added the slices? All right. So what? Let's delete task number 19 sheet for now. I'll delete this. Go to my employee data. Select all of it. Copy. Create a new sheet. Paste all the data over here. Name this as task 19. Now I'll select the entire data set. Go from the home tab here. Go to styles. The second option is style, format as table. Choose any design that you want. I will choose this one for now. Click on OK. This is what I get. Now in the table design tab that you see here, if you are in home, go all the way to the last table design. You see the option for inserting slicers. Insert slicers. You can insert as many as you want. but the task required only two slices, that is department, location. Okay, the two slices are here now, and now we can use this to slice our data. Select field sales, so select Hyderabad, and then or select inside sales, select Chennai, and so on. And to basically clear those slices, on the top right you see this little red X. Remove that, and we have everything that is needed. If we just select Delhi, it gives us everything in Delhi from all departments. Right, I hope that was clear with slicers. Varanpreet says, please send to-do list. Varanpreet, I'm thinking you were not in the last session. We had shared a link. Tanesh Patil says in the formula of column W, sir, you type S22 and U22. Yeah, I do remember I did make that mistake, but I have corrected them now. But let me check them again. If you realize, if you notice that formula for column W, employee data. Have I? Oh, yes, I have. Thank you very much, Tanesh, for noticing the mistake I had made. So I'll change this. Now I hope, and I'll change this as well. All right. So a mistake was made. No problem. That mistake is now solved. Maybe now the same mistake has been made in the task number 19 sheet as well. So here I'll delete everything first. All right, there we go. Everything is now fixed. All right. So give list of formulas. Again, Chandana, we have shared a link in the last class. And then you can maybe, but if there are new people in this session, I would request my team if you can share the link. Oh, the link is already shared. All right. So Ritu has already shared the link. Please use this link, and basically the exact sheet that I am working on, you'll get the exact same sheet this time. All right. Now I guess we are done with Excel. I can close this sheet of mine with confidence. All right. Now let's get to making our dashboards. All right. I will be sharing my screen with you guys. Let's start with opening my browser. Now, basically, what we have to do, everything that we have learned in the last 4.5 masterclass, we have to use all those skills to develop a final project for us. And how does that work? So I will first of all, I'll start with a completely raw data, not something artificial from Tableau or from, Kaggle, complete raw data. So for now, just a good example that almost everybody will find relatable. I will Google this particular thing called India census data. Wrong census spelling, but okay. From this, I'll open this first link called census tables. And you see, if you are also interested in maybe exploring the Indian population or India census, you can use the same link. You will see, you will find a lot of data sets over here. You see, this has one Excel sheet, this has 36 different data sets within it. So there are a lot of things that you can download from here if you are interested. But for now, let's go with the first one. I will download the first data. You can download anything of your choice. But after it is downloaded, this is what it looks like. So I'm sure you guys are all updated with current affairs and general knowledge. The last India census was conducted in 2011, and this is data. I know our government said that another will be conducted in 25 or 26, and at some places it is already in on the way. So I'm sure we'll get new census data very soon. But as of right now, the last updated India census data is from 2011. Right now, this is the data that we have, and this is what we will be working with. Now, we basically have to prepare this data to make it ready for the dashboard, ready for creating a dashboard. And how do you make any data ready for creating a dashboard? You do that by cleaning and setting up your data. Now, if we just try to understand this data at first, we have state code, district code, sub-district code, then we have total India data, then we have state like Jammu and Kashmir, then we have Kupwara, and within, I am guessing Kupwara and Handwara, Karna. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the names. I'm guessing these are districts in Jammu and Kashmir, and so on. If we go all the way down, you'll find more states, more districts, and more sub districts as well. Then, whether the location is total, sorry, the population is total, the population is rural, or the population is urban. Then you see if the column headers, you will see the number of villages, whether they are inhabited or uninhabited. That is, whether the people live in villages or they do not live there. The number of towns that are there, the number of households that are there, then total people, and then whether the male population and the female population, the area per square feet, and population per square feet. Now, what we need to do at first, so you can use this data and create a dashboard anyhow you want, but I will now take you through what my thought process is. So, from my thought process, I do not really need the state code, district code, and sub district code right now for the dashboard. What I will do, see, you can either create a new sheet, make a copy of it, and then delete and clean data over there, or you can simply do it with this one. Right now, I will delete everything, the first three columns. Then, first empty column, I will also delete. Now, what you see here, a lot, many cells here are merged, and I do not want merge cells. I want separate columns, separate rows for all of my data. So what I will do right now, I will take all the merge cells and I will unmerge them. You see the button over here. If you click on this button, it will either merge everything or unmerge everything. Same button to for the same task. All right. Now, number of villages inhabited and uninhabited. I will simply copy this or just write down here number villages inhabited, then villages uninhabited, then number of towns. That's okay. I'll copy these column headers, put them over here. Number of household controls, paste it over here. Then population, copy this, paste. Then I'll do the same here. Population males, and then population females, then area per square feet and population per square feet. And now this first row is now not needed, and this is also not needed. Now this is what we have. We have basically kind of set up the column headers. Now we will look how we can basically organize our data in a much better manner. So if we just put our eye on the first three rows, starting with the second row, it gives us data for entire country. And we do not really want data for entire country. We want data separated for each different state or district. So why we do not want data for the entire country? Because if I just have to give you an example, if I use the sum formula in Excel equal to SUM, and I take this population of this entire column all the way to the bottom, what does it give us? A number that is very high. But if I simply remove the India column from over here and then delete it, now what it will do for me is that it has basically what the raw data that we downloaded from the government website, it has basically made the sum of all our values and put it on the top for to check it for us. We do not need the total sum values because it ruins our data. And how does it ruin our data? Because it has basically doubled up our data. All the data that we will get upon adding of our existing data, that same value we have in the top three different rows that we have. So in a way, number wise, our data is doubled up and we do not want that. All right. Now what we see here, if I simply choose the entire row over here, go to filter and put a filter over here. Now just to check what the unique values are, you will see that there are only three values: district, state, sub district. So how does this filter help us? That this particular column does not need to be clean. It is already clean. It already only has district, state, and the sub district, nothing else. All right. Now for total rural urban, again only three things. Okay. But even without going to the filter, in my first glance, I can see that at some places we have this unnecessary at and involved. Now what I will do, I'll go to text filters, I'll go to contains, and I'll simply put at. Click on OK. Oh, I was worried for no reason. Only one value has this. But you see, this process helps us understand that there are more such values, like if there were more such values. So I'll undo this, simply go over there and paste. All right. Now let's say, although I very easily manually removed it, let's say there were more values which had at next to it. Just to look at an example, if I copy all of this, go to new sheet. Let's imagine that our data looks something like this, equal to Jammu and Kashmir and uh, semicolon at and. So this was roughly what it looked like. And let's say all values look like this. So how will we clean this? We'll simply go to data over here, go to split text to columns, not this option, go to next over here and go to other. We have already done this in our previous masterclass. Choose the at option and then finish. You see all the ads are now removed. And since this is the formula, our formula has been that way. So what mistake we did? Again, I'll copy all this and paste it as as values. Go to text to columns, next, at and finish. Now see, we have Jammu and Kashmir and everything else is separated. If we expand the column, you will see everything is clean and it has been removed. Now, since this was not necessary, I'll delete this sheet. But what is still necessary, I hope you remember we learned this in the previous session, and that is trimming and cleaning. Trim, clean, and the text value. Then I will go all the way up until here. Now this has helped us guaranteed that there are no separate value. I hope you remember from the previous masterclass, if you do not clean or trim our data, the hidden characters or the hidden spaces that we do not often see, they get hidden, and even value that looks similar to on first glance, they end up being different values. All right, so I'll take all of this, go to a new sheet and paste everything as values over here. And you'll see a lot of this is stored as text. We can store them as number by simply choosing this option of convert to number. It will take some time. And now everything is stored as number. So now, in my opinion, this data is now ready to use. If you believe further cleaning is required, you can definitely do that. You can look for missing values in the text and replace them with maybe not available. You can look for missing values in the numbers and replace them either with zero, or you can replace them with average value, median value, mode value, everything that we have learned in our previous sessions. So for now, I'll save this to my desktop. And for now, let's call it dashboard. So let's just call it census dashboard data. All right. So closing this, and now we'll get back to our favorite tool called Tableau. By the time Tableau opens, let's see if you guys have any queries. Okay, I don't see any queries. I hope everything is good. The Tableau is taking some time to open. All right, the chat was closed. Okay, I opened the chat now. If you guys have any queries that you were not able to put earlier, you can now. Dhairya Patel, what is concept? We will get to that as well. Do not worry, Dhairya. All right, now we already know how Tableau works. Go to Excel, go to desktop, go to the census dashboard data, open. I see two, three more messages. Varanpreet, the link that was just shared in the chat, you use that link and you'll be able to download the exact sheet and formulas that are present in that sheet. So for now I'll rename this as the census dashboard. So although we do not need to recheck, but if something needs to be changed, you can check over here. We'll get back to our sheet one. Now, to create a dashboard, remember a very important principle that we learned in the first two master classes, that the ease of viewing data should be a greater priority than making the most beautiful and interactive looking data dashboard. If your dashboard is very, very beautiful or very complex looking, maybe very impressive to an artist, but if it is hard to use, if it is hard to basically understand what it is trying to convey, then you have not done your job well. Now, when it comes to design, when it comes to colors, of course, your goal is to make it as beautiful, as interactive as possible, so that you get more and more people seeing it, more and more, people liking it. So that serves as the likability part. But after being likable, if people do not understand that, then you are not basically served your purpose. Now, to basically make a dashboard, what we need is various elements that will be in the dashboard. Now, let's start with, now, of course, when you work on your dashboard, you can explore uh, enormous types of various elements. Archie is asking what are the main graph. Archie, it is totally up to you. As we go ahead in this session, you will learn more about it. Now, let's say in my census dashboard, I want to start with a very basic bar graph. And then bar graph is basically supposed to represent uh, total number of households based on the category, whether it is the total households, rural households, or urban households. All right. So first, what I'll do, I'll take the category, put it over here, and then I'll take total number of households, put it into rows. So we have got our basic bar graph that looks something like this. Now, let's say this is our first example. Let's name this as category versus households. Now, quickly moving on, we can spend our time on formatting later. Let's say the second thing that we want is basically the population of male versus female population in different regions that we have. All right, now put it over here, then take male population, put it over here. Next, I will take the name and then put that over here. Now, what do we have in name? Maharashtra, Bihar. So this doesn't seem like a very good idea, this scatter plot. So what we can do here, we can rather make a line chart, line chart that depicts the male and female population. So how I will start is, I will either take India, state or union territory, put it over here. Then I'll put male population. Surprisingly, it shows the same number. Okay, it will be the same number because I have done sum. What I will do here instead is do maybe average. Oh, a very high difference. So what do we have? So state population is very high, district is low, and sub district is even low, quite low. All right. What else can we try? If we try median, minimum, maximum, okay, sum is there. Let's go ahead with this for now. And now let's take the female population. All right, we'll go to female population later. Let's remove this. Let's take the total population that we have. Put it over here. Now again, rather than sum, I will take average, and we have similar numbers here. So what you see, if I simply hover over them, state has roughly 23 lakhs, sorry. So in the average state population in India is 23 lakhs. Average district population is 1 lakh No, it's 12 lakhs. And average sub-district is 1,34,000. Now, I do not prefer this particular bar graph. I would rather like a pie chart. For that, I will shift everything here. Now, I hope you remember, I do not need to tell you how to make a pie chart. I will drag the categories into colors and I will drag the population into size. Now, since this is a bit small, I'll increase the size of it. So not that big. Okay, this goes well. So population by size, and rather than sum, I will again go for average over here. So this has changed, a very odd looking pie chart, but we have basically achieved our thing. So this red shows the average population by state, blue shows average population by district, and very little red sliver here shows average population by sub-district. All right, now I will name this as location versus population. Apply and then OK. Now let's create one more. Now, what the next thing that I want, the next thing is basically a map. So how exactly I want the map to happen is, you see the geographical symbol. I'll simply double click on it. And then now it's time to fill my map that I have over here. So in short, we basically want to fill our map of India. So just to show you, if we go back to our sheet that we had made just now, to basically understand what the different points are, you see the first variable that we have in Tableau. I'll close this. So the first variable that we have in Tableau, it basically gives us three main variables. There is state, district, and sub-district. Name gives us all the names of various, states, various districts, various sub-districts. Then we have numbers and we have these categories. So based on that, now let's see how we can utilize this information in Tableau. Now what I want here, I want to basically implement names. But right now, if I take this and drag this over here, nothing will happen. Because if you remember from the previous master classes, that the name variable does not have the correct data type. You see in front of name, you see ABC written rather than the globe that is supposed to be there. So what I will do, rather than the string, I will assign it a geographical role. Now you see the geographical role is none. If I will show you how different geographical roles work. If I choose this option of state over here, it will basically recognize all the values that are present as states. And now, if I double click on it, you see it has basically marked all the values that we have. You see, this is Andaman and Nicobar, Pondicherry, Tamil Nadu. You see, it has even recognized union territories as its individual state. Lakshadweep, Karnataka, Goa, Andhra. And you see, all right, any guesses why Telangana is empty? Although this is real data we downloaded from government website, how come there was no census for Telangana? Are there any guesses for that? Yes, Telangana was not a state at the time. So yes, at in 2011 when census was conducted, Telangana was not a state. Since you see also this part is also Ladakh is also empty because Ladakh was also part of Jammu Kashmir at that time. So whatever we have for Jammu Kashmir, that will be counted as Ladakh. All right. Now let's say we only wanted the state data. What I will do, I'll go to automatic, then rather than automatic I'll choose maps, and you see all my states are filled. I'll take the same thing and go drop to colors, and you see now every state is now represented by a different color. Now same I can do, provide labels. Then we have, what have we made? We have done population, we have done households. What we can do now, maybe population per square feet. All right, let's try this. And I will also drag this to labels. So now if we see, Uttar Pradesh has a population of 7379, you know, per per square feet. Sorry, square feet. That is very small, per square kilometer. Now this was for states, and just to let you know, I will be using states data. And why I will be using states data? Remember a very important point. Making it more readable is more important than having more complex and advanced information. So let me show you why I will not be using district or sub-district. Not that we cannot use it. We definitely can. So now to this particular data, if I make a copy of it. So why I'm making a copy? Because I do not want to change the data type of this particular variable that I have used here. If I change the data type, just to show you an example, rather than geographic role of states, I assign city to it. You see, did you just realize what has happened just now? It has basically marked every single city where the census was conducted. And now you see, I hope now you understand that although I can also make a dashboard that give you very detailed information in depth for every single city. But imagine a dashboard that looks like that contains a map that looks like this, and it has these thousands of dots on it. So it is not very feasible. So for now, I'll undo this. And then in the new duplicate that I have made for states, that is where I will, create my new graph. Now, although I am creating this new map just to show you guys, I will not be using it. But if I wanted to make something with city, this is how I will do it. Now I'll double click on it. Now every city is marked. Now let's say I assign different color to each city, and then we have it. Now again, if I wanted more, so you see, because Tableau is not really an Indian software, other countries have other places also, like county, country and region, state, province, zip. If we also have zip codes for various locations, that also can be marked and so on. So you can try. If I go with country and region, okay, it is giving me something. Oh, I guess there are cities with Indian names or district with Indian names in other countries as well, but we don't really need it for now. But before we go on to making our dashboard, let's see where we can actually use something like, say, let's say we wanted to represent same data, but rather than making it so, cluttered up, so messed up, how we can do. So rather than representing the whole country, how about we represent only a single state? So let's say I wanted to represent my state of Karnataka. How I will do it? Of course, whole country is very messed up. So let's take an example of how it can be done. So what I'll do to begin with, I will take this category filter, drag it over here, and from here I'll only click on state, only state, apply, okay. Now see only states that remain Chandigarh, Goa, and Pondicherry. Now what I will do, I'll take this C. Why these three dots remain? Because I had chosen this particular one that had the geographic role of a city. So for now, I will first, let's remove everything from here. Now if I take this, drag this over here, it has given us all states. But if I again take this, drag this to filters, okay, for now, if I take names, let's say I wanted to just keep the city. If I take this category, let's say I just want the urban data, or let's say rural data. I simply click on rural, apply, and then okay. Not much has changed because we have already. Now, if I again choose this filter and choose urban data and then apply and then okay, not also not of much use. So this, I hope this helps you understand. Now again, what we can do, if I take this as the geography role assigned is already of state, I add it as a layer. All right, so right now what is happening, because the number of states or districts or such details is very high, that is why Tableau is struggling to basically present it. All right, so what I am trying to tell you, what I will show you from Excel what basically is happening. So basically you see all the values that we have here. If we take a count of it, if I write equal to unique, and then basically it has 5946 unique values. So that is why Tableau is not that Tableau cannot do it. It will just take some time. Since we do not have a lot of time in this particular session, we will not be using that. But just to let you understand, what I can do, I can filter out the data for any state, take all the district from that state, and basically using filter to remove the clutter. Since it is not working right now, we will not be using, but in previous sessions, we have learned how filters work. Even right now, we can see how filters work. If I take this particular thing over here, put it here, and I only choose, let's say, district, apply. Okay, I should have showed it to you properly. Let's say for now, if I select everything, apply, we have a lot more data. But rather than creating data for everything, if I just choose district, a very few districts. If I remove everything, only choose sub districts. Oh, sub districts are very high. So I guess for data that is this high, we can maybe make something for sub district where it can be easily doable. But if you see, if I have to show you an example, if you do it for only Maharashtra, then you see that map will look something like this. And then each of these districts, they can, such as Mumbai, Thane, Ratnagiri, Nashik, all these can be provided their own labels, their own data that they can represent. All right, and rest of the graphs that we have already worked with, so I'll delete this sheet for now and continue with the original map that we had made. Twinkle Gupta Niyar Singh are saying my voice and video are not clear. Okay, please, Aarti, please interrupt me and let me know if my voice is clear.
No, Karthik, it's fine. I think it can be an internet issue
Okay,
on their end. Yeah.
all right. Okay, now for our dashboard, let's do one more thing, maybe one more graph. Now it could be a line graph for different uh, name. Let's do first do states over here, filter and then add. Filter is not happening. If I add all members, let's see what it will look like. All right, this is too much. So it is basically showing me all the 5,000 values. But what we can do probably, if I put this over here, take this category, put the filter over, only choose state, apply, and OK. Oh yes, we have kind of solved our problem. If I take put name in columns, then take the male population, put it over here. Rather than bar graph, if I make a line chart out of it, then take the female population, add it as add it as another layer, and then synchronizing everything. Synchronize axis. There we go. Let's say this is the next thing that we want, a state-wise distribution of male versus female population. Now see, you don't have to go with exactly what I am doing. Creating a final project is all about your creativity. And I'm sure that whatever I have done till now, you all already know how to do that because we have learned how to make all these graphs in previous sessions as well. Now, one additional thing that I'm going to do right now for the dashboard that we call, KPIs or key performance indicators. I will create cards for those KPIs. Now, let's see how those cards will work very easily. I'll simply take area in square kilometers and title it as area, apply and OK. One more, I'll take total population and title it as population, apply and OK. And then what else can I do? Maybe let's do number of house in a new sheet, of course. Number of households. Now, please bear with me for some time. You'll understand why I'm creating a separate sheet for each of these things. Then last thing I'll do is number of towns. Apply and OK. Now let's say we have created 8 different elements. Although my naming convention here is very bad. If you remember from the previous sessions, naming convention is extremely important. So we have created these 8 different elements, and now I'll be creating a dashboard out of these 8 elements. So for a new dashboard, up until now, we are choosing this first option to create a new sheet. This time I'll choose the second option called new dashboard. Now this is the dashboard that we do have. The first thing that I will do, I will take away the you see it has currently given me a very small area to work with. I will remove the minimum size option, and so I have everything the entire sheet available to me. Now to start with, dashboards are basically made using the elements that we do have. So what I'll do for now, I will get my first sheet that's it contained this particular graph, bar graph. Also get my second sheet, put it over here. So what you see right now I'm just throwing everything. So I'll remove this extra, legend that I have, and this one as well. I don't need it. Take my fourth sheet, put it over here. Then this I will remove. Then I'll take my third sheet, put it, the map that I had, the map goes over there. Next thing, I'll take, where was my pie chart? I'll take my pie chart, put it slightly, no, I'll put my pie chart. What is a good place for a pie chart? I think this is a better place. Maybe reduce the size of it a little bit. That will be very good. So I'll go to my sheet 2 and reduce the size from over here. Let's see what it looks like. All right, we'll work on the size later. I'll name this sheet as population. No, it wasn't population. I think it was population per square feet. Apply and OK. Now where I was going to use my text information that I had just uh, made, the small text cards. So sheet 5 goes over here. Sheet 6 beside sheet 5. Sheet 7 over here. Sheet 8 goes over here. Now I will, just to give a heading, I can simply give a heading by clicking this box in called show dashboard title. And for now, I will simply name it as India Census 2011. Apply, then put it in center, apply that was, and make it bold maybe. And okay. Okay, now as of right now, our dashboard looks something like this. Quite bad looking, to be honest. But let's see how we can work with this. All right, now we have a bar chart that displays our data, whether it is total data, rural or urban. Then we have a line chart that gives us difference in male and female population for states. We have a map that gives you per square feet information based on the different states. Then we have these small text information. So now just to make it look better, what I will do, I will reduce the size a bit, apply, and then OK. Same I'll do here. I'll change them all to 10. Now see, as I said that the beautifying or the basic editing is depends from person to person. You can change it as you would like. But now, how do you change this particular dashboard into something much more interactive? This basically could be an image. How do we make it an interactive dashboard? So what I will do, I'll click on each of these various different uh, number elements that we have, and you see next to each of these boxes, you will see that there is this option called use as filter. I'll activate this for now, but let's see how it will work. I'm doing this for all of them. All right, now what this has done, it has made our dashboard very interactive. Now, how interaction works? Now, let's say all this information you see. So, this gives us total information of everything. All right. So, total population of states, district, and sub districts combined is how much is this? I think this was over 700. Now, this number is very high, of course, because we have combined population of state, district, and sub districts and counted it as very high. Now, let's say I wanted all this entire data, this the rural, total, urban, then after that, state, district, sub district, male, female, only for Rajasthan. What I will do, I'll go to this map, click on it, and you see everything changes. Rajasthan, since it is only a state, gives me state-wise data. The numbers have changed. They have gone down considerably. Number of towns in Rajasthan are 594. These are household. This is the area in square kilometer. And this is the total population. And you see male population of Rajasthan is 7 crores to 7 crores. And female is close to 6 crores. Same, if I wanted Assam, I will again get the same data. Now, it doesn't just happen with maps. Let's say I wanted everything to represent only rural data. If I click on this rural bar over here, it will get activated and the numbers will change accordingly. You see, in rural, since there are no towns in rural area, you will see zero written over here, but there are 50 crore households. The rural area of our entire country in square kilometer is this, rural population is this, and this graph has accordingly changed for rural info. Now, if I close this, and here, let's say state, district, sub-district, let's say choose the smallest one, the sub-district option. I click on that, and everything changes. Now, you see sub-districts, a lot of information in there. In Bihar, there are sub-districts where the population is 16, but in total, what is the sub-district population is quite high. And then the female population is high, name area not under any sub. So this is kind of something new that we have learned from the data we downloaded from the website, that there are also areas that are not counted under sub-district. Now, if I select district from over here, the entire now you see, you might be wondering why the map has gone empty. If you remember, we had made the maps using state data. That is why when we are selecting district or sub-district, the map is going empty. And now if I choose state from over here, everything gets activated once again. We can do the same. Let's say from within this population of males from Uttar Pradesh. If I choose only this, now again it changes. So square kilo area, population, number of towns, and so on. We get all the information. So in Uttar Pradesh, rural is higher than urban. Then of course, see, only one state is marked because we only chose one state. And I'll unselect this. Now wherever I go, I can do the same using anything. Now, of course, modifying this, now since we do not have a lot of time, I will not spend a lot of time on beautifying it, but I'll teach you how to basically make it better looking and much more interactive. You see, for this, you see this scrolling bar over here. This is just a size issue. Once you adjust the size a little bit here and there, everything will be fixed. But you see from here, if let's say you wanted to add an image. Now, I really don't know at the moment what could be a good image that can be used on a census data. But let's say if I go over here and click census of India, go to images. Let's say you wanted to insert this image within your dashboard. What I will do, I will download this, save images. Then again on my desktop, let's save it as images for now. Now, in this objects on the left bottom of your screen, you will see image option here. Now see it has basically created this, and I'll click on choose, go to down desktop, choose this, open, apply, and then OK. Now see we have this image, and we can basically take this image and put it anywhere on our dashboard. Now, a good way of doing this is rather than choosing tile, choose floating. So by tile, what you mean, you are fixing its location, and by floating, you can change its location however you like. Then we also have option to put in different containers, different text, whatever you want to add, you can add from there. Then the color options that we have, let's say changing the color of just the heading for now, although you can change more colors as well. Let's say making it slightly blue, so the color of that has gone blue. Let's make it very colorful, keeping different colors. You see what you see white here, that also can be edited by going to the individual sheets over here. And for the entire dashboard also, the full dashboard, if you want to give it a color, you can give that as well. For individual, you see the white that you see here, if I wanted to change that white, I'll go to the pie chart and change the color of this particular sheet. And how I'll change that? Go to format, and then make any changes that I want to from over here. For right now, worksheet, I made it blue, and you see the dashboard, it has also gone blue. Alright, for now, I prefer the original white, just giving the headline the blue color. And then after you have made your dashboard, you have designed your dashboard. All right, then the next thing, you basically now have to publish your dashboard. And how do you publish it? You go to file over here, and then you click on save to Tableau public. You see this option. Now once you click on it, it will ask you to log in the same account that you made on the Tableau public on in the first masterclass. Use the same credentials, and then it will do the publishing automatically for you, given that you enter the correct credentials. Although it might take some time, not a lot. Now it is asking me for a name. Let's keep the name as book one for now. Save it. And see now it is publishing this work on Tableau Public. Now it has automatically opened my browser. Now see so it has basically taken the dashboard that I made just now, and it has published it on web. Now see right now it doesn't look very good because we did not spend a lot of time on formatting. But of course, in your own time, you will spend your time. And by the way, that interactive feature that we had on our dashboard, it still exists online. So if I click on, you see Rajasthan over here, the data still changes accordingly. If I click on the other Nagar Haveli, the data still changes. So basically, exact dashboard that we did make, it is now saved. Now, what you have to do, now let's say for more purpose, and you will click on share over here. You will get two options. You can either share the current view or the original view. You can try both of them, how they work. Now you get two options for embed code and for link. Now this embedded code is of course people who are into development. If you have your own website, your own application, and you want to, integrate your dashboard into your website, what you will do, you will simply copy this embedded code. And although I will not be embedding it anywhere right now, but I'll simply open Word to show you. It gives you this particular HTML code. And I'm sure you all know how HTML works. If you use this particular HTML code, whichever web page of your website you want your dashboard to be, you will put that code over there. Now, you don't have to do that right now. What you have to do right now, you have to choose the second option, that is copy link. Now, although my dashboard is not very interactive, but I'm pasting this link in the chat. So I just pasted a link in the chat. If you open that link, you can actually see the dashboard that I have made right now. Basically, you all can see whoever opens that particular link. So from this, I hope you get the idea that this is what you are supposed to share. Now, how you will be sharing it. Now, your answer of how to make the concept note, what is a concept note, that will be answered right now. So closing this for now. Now, before getting to know what is a concept note, what is or how do you make it, let's understand when they are used. And if you understand what the use of a concept note or final presentation is, you will understand how exactly and when they are used and how basically do you make them. So imagine that as a project builder, as a dashboard builder, as a data analyst, you have a certain project that you have built. And imagine you want to go in that show called Shark Tank. Now I know Shark Tank is a public show. What that basically process is called presenting to the venture capitalists or presenting to potential investors. Now, thinking from that point of view, concept note is that thing that gets you selected for a presentation, and presentation is that thing that gets you the investment. Now imagine you have a great concept note. You send an email or send, maybe if you have the number, you send a WhatsApp message. Then what you have to do, you have to gain their attention, gain the attention of your VC or your investor very quickly, so that they take one glance and they are interested in your idea and want to listen more. And once you are selected by your VC, now they want a detailed presentation. Now imagine that you are maybe you want to go to a government department and tell them that I will organize your data in such a great manner that it will make data management and data analysis very easy for you. Now they ask you how you are going to do that. Now let's take a look how we are going to do that. Now for the concept note, as I said, it is for the first glance. How that you go to the government department, how on the first glance you want to impress them. So concept note can, I believe, cannot be very long, maximum 2 or 3 pages. But let's say the work that we did just now. Let's say I want to go to a government department, specifically the one that conducts census. I tell them that once you have collected your data, I will organize your data in a very interactive dashboard in such a great manner that basically understanding this data, interacting with this data will become very easy for you. So how I'll do that, I'll take this concept note, like put down what the introduction is. India is one of the most diverse nation with wide variation, population distribution, urbanization, household composition, and so on. And then I'll put in what the problem statement is. So basically, I'm telling what the problem is and how I'll solve it. Census data is available in large spreadsheet and statistical reports that are difficult for students, researchers, policymakers, and to interpret. An interactive platform is needed to transform raw census data into meaningful visual that enable quick comparison across regions. Then I also put down the objectives, build an interactive dashboard, visualize population, compare states, union territories, and so on. Then the description of the data set. This source contains number of villages, towns, households. Then what are the key performance indicators? The interactive maps, bar charts, pie charts, tree maps, scatter plot, ranking tables, and filters. Then what were the expected outcomes? What are the conclusions? And then what I have done, I have added a link to the dashboard that I've made. So I hope you see this, that your potential client, they have 5 minutes or even 2 minutes in hand. How do you impress them in 2 minutes? So quickly make a 2 pager, 3 pager. For right now, I only made a 1 pager so that they can go through it quickly. And if they like your idea, they will call you for a detailed presentation or detailed meeting. So keep that in mind. And with that thought, make your concept note. Concept note is mostly text, but it is not mandatory. You can add images as well. So why concept note is mostly text? Because you have to put in a very large information into a single page. That is why it is mostly text. If you start putting in images as well, then it will take up extra space and it will basically increase the number of pages. But if you think an image is extremely necessary, putting that image will, make your concept note better. You can definitely put that image. All right. So this is the idea behind making concept note. And then let's say your concept note was selected by your client and they want to talk more to you, want to meet with you and asking for a detailed presentation so that finally they can give you the investment and you can basically give them the project or build a project for them. So both concept note and the final presentation can be either made in a way that I will do this for you, or I have already done this and I'll give it to you. Now, see, now imagine me that I sent my concept notes, not in email to Shark Tank. My concept note has been selected. Now, this is what I will present in front of potential investors. So, starting with this is what I have named my dashboard: Population Diversity and Comparative Demographic Dashboard of India, an interactive data visualization dashboard built on Census of India data. All right. Now, my presentation, what I'm covering: introduction, problem statement, problem objectives, data set description, proposed dashboard features, visualization, interactive filters, and so on. India's demography, diversity, problem statement, what the challenges today and what our approach is. Then the objective, that I will be making an interactive dashboard that have multi-level visualizations, comparative. So even in dashboard as well, in first glance that you see only one page that has maybe 4 different visualizations. In Tableau, you can make multiple page dashboards. First page has this, second page has this, third page has this. You can make as many pages as you want, but it totally depends upon you how you want to present your data. Comparative analysis, rural urban insights, and pattern discovery. Then data set description, number of villages, and so on. Data set variables, dashboard features that are maps and charts. And then again, now since I am live, now what I will do, I will give a live demonstration. So for live demonstration as well, I have put a link over here. And from this point onwards, I'll click on the link, go to the dashboard, and then basically present what my dashboard is. You guys already know. And you see, for now, I have put the link to my dashboard in the end, but it is not necessary based on what your project is, based on how your project goes on. So this will be basically your final deliverable. And see, both your concept note, that is, that will look like this. Your concept note must contain the link to your dashboard, otherwise it will not be considered valid. And your presentation should also contain the link to your dashboard, otherwise that will also not be considered valid. And you guys already know where to get the link from. All right, I hope this is clear for now. Now let's, I hope everybody has understood. If you guys have any queries, any questions, then please you can put that in the chat. All right. Okay. Chirantan Malik says the data is not loading properly on Tableau book public link you are not shared. That is not a problem, Chirantan. There might be some issue in uploading from my side. As I have not put in a lot of time in there, but once you work on it, you can do multiple testing, and your dashboard will turn out just fine. No, Rida, census data was just an example that I use. So this is for everyone, not just Rida. You can use any data set that you like. Census data is just an example I showed to maybe to build something from something that is real. We could have built more, but since we're running out of time, we'll stop here. I would really suggest that you try out more Tableau features. Try making dashboard that has multiple pages and multiple interactive elements. All right, what else we have? Diksha says, can I switch to individual participate? Yes, Diksha, you can. If the team members are not available, then you can participate alone. Can you share the same concept note as an example? Yes. The concept note and the final presentation that you just saw, both of them will be shared with you. But just keep in mind, whether the dashboard or the concept note, the Excel file, whatever has been shared with you, if you are found to be copying that, then your entry will not be considered valid and you will be not marked complete. So please make sure that use all the resources that you have as inspiration and do not copy anything. Yes, definitely. So Hibatus Salam is asking, can we change the data like you take from first data? Can we take from the second or third? Definitely you can. Okay, we have to create a dashboard. You have to create a dashboard, a concept note, and a presentation, and you have to embed your dashboard link into your concept note and your presentation. My name is Miss Final Report. Your concept note is your final report. PPT, yes, it will be shared with all of you. Krish says, can we use Power BI? Power BI is a great platform, very similar to Tableau. But for this particular internship, you have to only use Tableau, as that is it is part of this particular internship program. So make sure that you use Tableau and share your Tableau public link, as I just showed you guys how to. Yes, as I just showed you, you will be making a concept note. Your first and foremost goal is to get a data set, clean and organize that data set, create a dashboard from that data set, create a concept note, put a link to the dashboard, create a presentation, put a link to the dashboard, the Tableau public link. So after you have made the dashboard, publish that dashboard on Tableau public so that basically it is public for everyone to see. Then you will embed that link into your concept note and your final deliverable presentation. You can choose any data set as per your preference. See, let me talk about the data set. So the kind of data set that you will choose, the kind of presentation that you will make, the kind of concept note that you will make, the kind of dashboard that you will make, that will all eventually affect your final evaluation. So I some of you might think that choosing a simple data set, I will complete the task very fast. I will make a very simple dashboard, but it does not end here. you the kind of work that you will do, it will affect your final evaluation. So work with that thing in mind. As I said, the example that I gave was also from impressing your venture capitalist, impressing your investors. So put in all your creative and imaginative thinking into making this dashboard, keeping in mind that because if your evaluation is going to be done by senior executives from IBM and also from people who will potentially reach out to you to present to them. So we have a pitch night planned on, if I might be wrong, my team will help you, in I think first week of August. And the people who will make the best dashboards, the top 10 people, they will be invited to the pitch night where they will be presenting their project in front of senior industry experts. And you will get the opportunity to interact with them and further opportunities as well. All right, so prepare your project based on that. If you do not put a lot of thought and effort into it, it will affect your final evaluation. All right, so I will continue to answer your questions as they are in chat. But for right now, I'll hand over this meeting back to Aarti so she can take you more. We are running out of time. She will take you through. All right, thank you everyone very much. This was the final masterclass. But do not worry, we will meet again if you guys have any queries, any questions. For now, thank you very much. And over to you, Aarti.
Thank you so much, Karthik, for your wonderful session. Right, Aarti is currently facing some internet issues, students, so I'll be here just to wrap up for today. I can see that a lot of questions are being shared on the chat box. So we are here, we are reading them. We will definitely be addressing them as well, right? But just want to take this time to really thank and appreciate our speaker, Mr. Karthik Huda, for staying on these five masterclasses with you. He'll still be here with us when you want to work on your project and you have questions coming up. But I think students, can we keep our queries aside for a minute and just, can I say some reactions and some comments thanking Karthik for these beautiful five masterclasses that were there. I'm sure he has worked with all of you so in detailed, in person, addressing each and one of your queries. And really sure that what he has taught you in terms of Tableau, in terms of Excel, has been good and amazing, right? So thank you, students, for your reactions. I'm really glad to see your reactions over here and thanking Karthik for the session. Right. So on that note, students, just wanted to put forward that with Masterclass 5, our live sessions are coming to an end, which is related to the topic. But no, your internship does not end over here. We still have some industry interactions planned for you, some soft skill sessions planned for you, as well as your project that you should be working on. And like Karthik has already announced, those lucky students who have the best projects that we select from will also be participating in our pitch night that's happening in the month of August. Depending on certain criterias, either on the first week of August or on the second week of August, but there are these elements that are coming up. But on that note, just taking this time to thank everybody for being in this journey with us together. Just some common announcements before we wrap up this session. I know that we've exceeded time, but 5 minutes just for some common announcements, seeing the common queries that we are receiving. And once that's done, my team will share the attendance form with you. And those who have some more queries can definitely stay back. But yes, so for those of you who are watching live, I understand that getting into Zoom may have been difficult, but if you have some doubts, if you have some clarities, please join in our Zoom account right now. Your teammates and your classmates who weren't able to join us, right? Please ask them to step into Zoom as these announcements are being made, right? On that note, just some queries that I wanted to address in person with all of you. So, two major queries that we've been receiving over this past week. One was with regard to your offer letters, and one was regarding the dashboard, one in terms of login, and two in terms of what do I upload and where do I upload, right? So to address your offer letters first, please note that your offer letters have been sent across, and we've issued all the offer letters that have come through us through queries and through your registration. So requesting all of you to do a really thorough check on your emails, on your alternate email accounts, on your spam section if needed. You can search with the subject line AICT, big data, and business management internship, IBM skills build. Search up with these keywords. You'll definitely be getting your offer letters. We've issued your offer letters to those email IDs that you have sent us and you have so promptly filled on your registration form. So please do that thorough check, and reach out to us if you're still facing some queries. Now, in terms of your dashboard, I understand that some of you were facing challenges with how you can make the uploads. How do I make the upload? How do I log in? How do I make changes? And there were also some queries as to my certificate is not being uploaded. I can't find the certificate that I need to upload. All of that, right? So I'm just going to share my screen just quickly to show you how to download your certificate and how to upload it on the platform, right? So I'm just pulling up my your dashboard as well as the IBM Skills Build page, right? Just give me 1 second. Yeah. So this is your, I hope my screen is visible. This is your learning plan, right? Your program, the program that you've enrolled for, and the learning plan that all of you have been so wonderfully doing, these past 2 weeks. And you can see that there were sections and there were different topics that you can address. It talks to you about Tableau, it teaches you about data fundamentals, types of data, classifying data, visualizing data, all of that has been present on this learning plan that is designed for you to do your foundation study as your master classes are going on, so that all of this helps you with your project, right? Now on this platform you can see that I had selected section number 2, though some of you would have selected section 3, some of you would have selected section 2, section 1. So I had selected section number 1, where I had worked on these 2 credential courses that were there, so that I can also use this to put on my LinkedIn as well, right? So these were the 2 courses that I had done as a part of this program. And you can see that because I have finished section number 1, I finished both my credentials and I've taken my Credly certificate, my credential certificate from it, you can see that it's showing 100% complete. Now, when your learning plan shows 100% complete, right, you can see that there's an option called actions over here. This is something that you can click on and you can see that your certificate is right over there, right? It says view completion certificate. So there are these links. This particular learning plan link has been shared with you over WhatsApp, on your resource document, on this calls multiple times. So I'm sure all of you have the link with you. Click on the link, ensure you finish the courses that you need to finish. In case you haven't done so already, for example, you've taken section 1, click on the course, it redirects you to the next page. Yeah, 1 second. It redirects you to the next page. You do all the different courses that are there, finish it off, come back to your main learning plan. And once all of that is done, your actions are visible over, sorry, your certificate is visible on the actions tab over here. You click on the actions tab, you click on new completion certificate. Here you go, your certificate is right there. Just like you take certificates for every other course on this platform, you can get your certificate right here, right? Once you do that, you can take a screenshot or you can print the certificate, save it as a PDF to your desktop and have it ready for upload, right? So that was the first step. I'm just going to click on download. There I keep all my files and just going to save it there. So my file is officially and properly saved. Now heading into the dashboard. Now you can see that this is how your dashboard looks. You definitely have the link with you. All you need is your email ID and your correct college name. You have the notices over here. So everything that you need is right here, right? Now, for example, I'm going to log into um, because you belong to the data team, right? You are a future data learners. So just because we have a specific account for that, I'm going to log into Ritu's account, who has registered officially for the big data program, right? And because for our organization, we've set up a particular section for our organization, I will be logging in with that college. Now, remember, this is for us. This is our test account, and this is just for us to be able to log in and show you how your login credentials work. Everybody who has registered for this program has their own email ID and their own college name, right? Now, sometimes there can be cases where you belong to AC Patel College, but there are two entries based on how you have, how data has been sent to us. So we've put that up. So for example, you belong to AC Patel College. You click on the first one, your login is not happening. Please click on the second one and check if your college login is happening, right? That's one. So try multiple names for your college in case you see multiple names on the dashboard. Secondly, we did face this challenge where we weren't able to track or locate your college name when the data was updated. So there have been chances where students have gone into the category called NA. So this is also something that you can check out in case your login is not possible. Check it out, and if you're able to log in and you definitely want your college name over there, please reach out to us so that we can correctly put the correct college name over there, right? So that's just one announcement that I wanted to make. So please do a good check before you try to log in. And if you're still not able to log in, try maybe, now, for example, in Ritu's team, there are three other team members. Just see if someone else is able to log in and see what is happening. Is it because you put a wrong email ID there? Is it because maybe your team leader's email ID is there in your place? So you can do those thorough checks and you can ask your team leader to definitely edit that as well. Coming back to the upload, right? So I'm going to click on Ritu's account and I've logged in. So this is our test account for this particular course. You can see that Ritu is a team member. She's not a team leader. So hence these two options are not available to her as of this moment. So all Ritu can do as a team leader will be to click on certificate upload. You can click here or you can drag the file over there. If you click here, you can just click directly on that and you can click on your certificate and try to upload. Now you can see that the certificate upload has happened. I'm going to click on upload. But what you can see is that the certificate is not valid because your track name or my name is not matching to what I'm trying to upload. Now, why does that happen? Because this is Ritu's certificate and I'm trying to upload my own certificate there, right? So hence why this challenge can occur to you. So please do a thorough check of the certificate that you're uploading. Make sure it belongs to you and it belongs to the correct learning plan as well, right? So because Ritu has already made her upload, I'm not going to overlap her upload over there, but this is how the uploading happens. Click on certificate upload, try to upload it over there, click on uploads, it'll get saved, and then you can proceed, right? If you have doubts on how the certificate looks, I've showed you the certificate right now, or you can click on view sample certificate and you can see how the certificate looks. So this is a certificate you need to be uploading. All right. Now I'm going to cancel this for now. Now coming into being able to log in as a leader and doing your project submissions. Now Karthik sir has very beautifully explained what is a concept note and what is a final deliverable, right? So these are submissions that need to be made over here and here only. You can click on the concept note, you can make the upload there. You can click on the final deliverable and make the upload there, right? But please note, only team leaders are able to make this upload. If you are an individual member in your team, you are your own team's team leader, so you will be able to make that upload, right? Why don't I just show it to you from a team leader perspective, right? But I hope the instructions are clear and you're able to understand why maybe you're not able to log into your account. But rest be assured, if you still have challenges going forward, we will be helping you through this process, right? Now you can see that I've logged in as into our test account as the team leader, right? In with Saket's email ID. So then you can see how these two options are open to me. So I click on concept node, I upload the file here, or I paste the drive link over here, and I can click on upload. Same thing happens for the final deliverable. Either I can put a direct file over there in a PDF or a doc or a PPT format, or I can put my Google Slides or Google Slides or Google Docs link also over here, right? So this is how our updates work. You have two methods of submission. But yeah, so just to wanted to clarify this with all of you. On that note, my announcements are done here. Please remember that your projects need to be started working on as of now, right? All things are shared with you. The project document will reach you in your WhatsApp groups on what clearly needs to be done. Please note that through this week and the next week, you can use to work on your projects. We look forward to seeing your projects by 20th. We understand that some places colleges have opened, some places you're on holiday. So there is no it's okay even if you submit your project before 20th, but we look to see your projects by the 20th so that we can have them evaluated by IBM experts and other industry experts and get you ready for your pitch night. Please note, those students who have done your projects well and they have scored the highest marks, they are the ones who will be selected for the pitch night. So, like Karthik has just mentioned, don't just do your project just to do a project, but remember the stake that it carries while you do it and the value that's there in place, right? So 20th is the date that we're looking to see your projects, considering college reopening and all of that. You have ample amount of time to work on your project as well. Um, Next week on the 16th, we will be hosting a project Q&A session for you where we will have our mentor also here. And you have any doubts regarding your project, those final set of errors you're facing, you're not able to go through, or you have doubts, we have a project Q&A session that is organized just for you to clear your doubts. So that will also be happening on the 16th. And like I said, you will be having an industry connect happening in the next week. In week 4, you will be having a soft skills and a professional skills session happening in the following week. So all of these things are in place for you while you work on your projects. We also have a special program coming up on July 15th. So all these programs are kept open for you while you work on your project. So looking forward to your full attendance in these sessions as well, especially when we have our industry experts coming in to take classes for you, right? On that note, these were all my announcements. Team, you can put the attendance form on the groups and on the meeting chat for all of them who are here. Those of you watching live, you can also fill your attendance form, right? And once you fill your attendance form, you are free to leave the session. If you still have queries, you can definitely stay back, right? I'm just pulling down my screen. I can see someone who's already spammed our entire chat box with one particular message. I will be addressing those queries. For those of you who have filled your attendance, you can leave. I'll be stopping the live now. So anybody who's watching us on YouTube live or any team members or classmates with any more queries, please join us on Zoom. We could spend another 10 minutes clearing those queries, after which I hope all those queries will be resolved, right? So let me just wait till anybody wants to log in and let's take up those queries. Thank you so much, students, for joining in. We will see you for our next session on July 15th. Please keep an eye on the WhatsApp group for all your updates. Thank you. Thank you so much. Just going to stop the recording as well. Thank you, students. All right. So those of you who are on live, YouTube live, you can jump in here for your queries. I'll be closing the live right now. Thank you. All right. Now, queries that were pending, right? Let me just check